Hey guys, welcome back! There was something about cracking open the box of an eagerly awaited update of a classic game, slamming it into the system and giving it a spin, only to find you still hanker for the good old days. The memory of the thrill you got when you first laid eyes on and played the original game can often water down the remake's appeal. Developers have quickly realized that the remaking of classic titles would inevitably result in many fans wanting to relive the original games. So, in order to give the people what they want, many developers started to include unlockable or hidden versions of their older properties in today's modern updates. I'm not talking about quick, simplified versions of a classic either. Many of these games feature the full, untouched originals, often complete with the same bugs and cheats. So good was this duplication on those consoles that many retro fans would buy new titles just so they can get their hands on the treasure buried within. In this video I'll be running down some of the best retro Easter eggs I've come across and give you the know-how you need to unlock these hidden classics. A certain iconic classic here. The original adventures of one Pitfall Harry owed more than a little to Indiana Jones, as crocodile avoiding, jog jumping and rope swinging were the tricks of our hero's trade. Pitfall was amazingly tough and certainly wasn't a stranger to frustration, but people still kept coming back to give the adventure one more try.
So, what's the goal of all this jungle hopping?
To find as much treasure as possible in 20 minutes. And if you last that long, you're a legend. The original Pitfall can be found in most of the sequels and updates. If you've got Pitfall the Mayan Adventure, you can unlock the original using a special code. For example, on the SNES, press A 5 times, followed by Select and Start on the main title screen. On the PC, type "Let's do the time warp during play", and on the Atari Jaguar, press the C button 26 times and then press down while the cursor is highlighting info on the menu. The game is also hidden in Pitfall 3D Beyond the Jungle on the PlayStation. To gain access, show some respect to the original author by entering Crane's Baby as a password. Oh, and if you can't keep up with the Indiana Joneses, press L1 and L2 during play for infinite lives. Finally, if you own a copy of Pitfall: The Lost Expedition on the PS2, Xbox or GameCube, you can enter codes at the main menu that will unlock both Pitfall and the even better sequel, Pitfall 2. Alternatively, you can unlock both games during play. For the first game, buy the mystery item from the shaman, and for the sequel, collect all the idols in the game and take them to the shaman. Not that a plot is of any real use in a scrolling shooter, but in Xevious, the story revolves around the Earth being attacked by another race, the Xevions, who claimed that mankind is the invader and that the planet is rightfully theirs. Humanity's last hope is the prototype Solvalu fighter. Xevious may at first appear to be a simple scrolling shooter, and in truth it is. But when it first appeared back in 1982, it was the first scroller to feature a dual attack system for both air and ground targets. The game debuted on the Apple II and then appeared on formats such as the C64, the Spectrum, the Amiga, the NES and the Game Boy. If you fancy giving this slice of blasting retro action a go, find yourself a GameCube and a copy of Star Fox Assault. You then have to suitably improve your skills and collect every silver medal in story mode, and Xevious will be yours. The origins of Star Wars games were grounded almost entirely in the epic vehicular struggles of the Rebel Alliance as it faced the all-conquering Empire. Perhaps the most fondly remembered of those early games is Atari's Arcade trilogy, The wireframe visuals of Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back wowed wannabe Skywalkers, and the sit-down cabinets outfitted with chunky flight controls and booming speakers let people relive the memorable scenes from the films. Return of the Jedi wasn't up to the standard of the first two games, sadly, replacing the 3D wireframe wizardry with a scrolling isometric view, but it still has its fans. All three of these coin-op classics can be found in Rogue Squadron 3 Rebel Strike on the GameCube. To access them, you must enter the following codes into the passcodes section of the options menu. R2-D2 will beep each time a correct code has been entered. To unlock Star Wars, enter the following, followed by. For Empire Strikes Back, enter, then, and to unlock Return of the Jedi, enter, followed by. Alternatively, you can unlock Star Wars by completing the Death Star rescue mission, and completing all the standard missions will unlock The Empire Strikes Back. However, only the code can unlock Return of the Jedi. If secret agents and fast cars are your thing, then this 007-inspired arcade car chase is the game for you. As the square-jawed spy in question, it's your mission to drive your high-tech sports car into battle against a wheeled syndicate intent on global domination. Using guns, smoke screens and oil slicks, you have to stay on the road and make sure your enemies don't. Your car can even turn into a speedboat. How cool is that? The Spy Hunter 3D remake on the Xbox contains the full original game. To get it, enter OG Spy in a spare slot at the beginning of the game, and it will then be selectable. Sega's Enduring Racer is easily one of the most popular retro titles around. Getting into your shiny Ferrari Testarossa with your trophy girlfriend in the passenger seat and slamming the pedal to the floor to the sounds of tropical electro pop is an arcade experience that most gamers will never forget. It instantly became one of the most popular arcade racers of all time and was converted to a range of formats, including all of the major home computers and consoles with varying degrees of success. Arcade sequels later appeared, such as Turbo OutRun and OutRunners, but it's the original that still holds the top spot for many. OutRun 2 for the Xbox includes the original game as a sneaky bonus for players to unlock. To get it, enter 1986 in the password screen, or if you're dead against dirty cheat codes, complete all of the routes in arcade mode on any difficulty. It should be noted, however, that this is the version of OutRun featured in the Shenmue games, and as such, there are a few graphical differences. If Sega's Shinobi was yin, then this would be its yang. Ninja Gaiden started off life on the NES and was a simple side-scrolling scrapper. As Ryu Hayabusa, Lethal Ninja Warrior, you were on a mission to find your father, and this meant fighting through level after level of increasingly tough bad guys and larger-than-life bosses. Armed with a dragon sword, shuriken and a dose of ninja magic, you'd fight street punks, gangsters and all manner of evil creatures, eventually waging war on the dark forces of the underworld. While the button-bashing gameplay was fairly simple, it was Shinobi for the NES, and fans who had played the Shinobi arcade unit to death could now play a ninja assassin in their own homes. The series spanned other games like Ninja Gaiden 2 The Dark Sword of Chaos and Ninja Gaiden 3 The Ancient Ship of Doom, and the formula remained much the same. All three of the original Oriental battlers can be found sneaking around in the rock-hard Xbox remake of Ninja Gaiden, but to get them, you'll need to put in the hours. The hardest of the three to unlock is the original Ninja Gaiden. To get it, you need to find 50 scarabs and give them to Muramasa. He'll then give you the original game. To play it, go to the arcade cabinet in Hans Bar. To get Ninja Gaiden 2, make sure you have the first game in your inventory, then shoot the clock face on the Tower of Tyron, where Muramasa's shop is located. The third and final game can be obtained by returning to the Paris-style passage in the aqueduct and jumping up onto the pillar that once contained a golden scarab. To unlock all three games from the main menu rather than from within the game, beat the story with the games in your inventory.
Ryu, I've heard there is a hidden path under the monastery that leads to the Emperor's...
Hang on, April!
In the late 80s and early 90s, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing green masked faces staring back at you. Those were the days of turtle power, and every kid wanted a piece of the pizza. Turtle cartoons, comics, movies, toys, books, lunchboxes and clothes appeared, as did an excellent arcade game. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade game was a scrolling beat-em-up just like Final Fight, only with bright, vibrant visuals and 4-player co-op gaming. I would hate to think just how much these units sucked out of people's pockets in their day. It wasn't long before Home System received a version of the arcade game, but thanks to the gulf in technology between the two platforms, they sadly weren't that great. Thankfully, home systems are now more than capable of delivering perfect coin-op conversions, and if you grab a copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Battle Nexus on the PC, PS2, Xbox or GameCube, you'll be able to play the original. To get it, fight through to level 9-1 and work your way up to the roof. Here you'll find an artifact. Take it back to your base and have April take a look at it in the second time around section. The game will then be available.
Intellectual turtle? I've got more than just smart.
Rub those sands of time and whisk yourself back to 1989. Jordan Mechner created Pince of Persia for the Apple II, a revolutionary title that combined platforming, combat and adventure to create a silky smooth epic containing easily the best character animation ever seen at the time. The story was the usual rescue the fair damsel from the evil villain fair, but this was no stock game. Using an incredible rotoscoping technique, Pince of Persia featured one of the most believable gaming characters ever seen. He ran, jumped, rolled, fought and died in such a convincing way that the game was an instant show-your-mates title. But it wasn't just looks that made Pince of Persia a winner, as the rock-hard gameplay pushed the platformer past its cutesy roots, accelerated the industry and acted as a catalyst for a new wave of platform adventures. Hidden within the depths of Pince of Persia: The Sands of Time on the PlayStation 2 and GameCube is the original PC version of Pince of Persia. To find this classic gem, you first need to play through the game until it's around 33% complete. You'll be given a new sword that can break through walls. Carry on until you reach a room with a white switch that can be set to 3 positions. Across from the switch is a normal looking wall that can be smashed with your new sword. Do this and a confirmation message will appear. Point the switch at the newly revealed door and run up the stairs to play the original game. Alternatively, you can just select the game from the extra features menu. If the original game is too tough for you, enter LRARU as a code and you'll be taken to the last level with around 20 minutes to spare. If you have the Xbox version, the above trick will unlock the PC version of Pince of Persia 2, The Shadow and the Flame. Don't worry if you hanker after the original though, as this will be unlocked when you complete the Sands of Time. While the Superior Doom eventually went on to define the FPS genre, It was this Nazi bashing shooter that laid the groundwork. Wolfenstein 3D was as impressive as it was controversial when it arrived in 1992, and never before had gamers played such an immersive and visceral title. Before it was censored on various platforms, Wolfenstein saw the player take on the German army as Allied soldier BJ Blazkowicz. Eventually, you even had to fight Hitler, who just happened to be equipped with a robot suit of armor. Nice. Needless to say, future versions were made a little more PC, and Nazi references were removed on grounds of bad taste. But the game still retained its core gameplay that has helped to shape every FPS since. If you want to relive the golden days of the FPS, you'll need to grab yourself an Xbox and a copy of the excellent remake Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Play through the game to the end and you'll find the option to play the original Wolfenstein 3D on the main menu. Sadly, this original title didn't do too well when it appeared on the Mega Drive in 1996, and although it was generally regarded as a good game, the license just vanished, with only a PC port and a Game Boy Advance version seeing the light of day. In the game you play Sketch Turner, a comic book artist who is dragged into his own comic strip by the villain of the story. The gameplay is basic combat, but each level takes place on a comic page, split into the various panels. Characters talk using speech bubbles, and the whole game looks just like a real comic. As well as the combat, there's a puzzle element thrown in, and you can also choose how to make your way through the levels. It's inspired stuff. This underrated classic is included as an unlockable bonus in Sonic Mega Collection Plus for the PS2 and Xbox. To gain access to the game and to other Mega Drive title, the Ooze, you need to have a Sonic Heroes saved game on your memory card. Now load the game as normal and the two games will be automatically available. So guys, here you have it, some gaming treasures that you must dig out right away. And if you've enjoyed this video, you know the drill. Thank you very much for watching and I'll catch you all in my next video. Cheers!